I have yet to meet a single woman, and I grew up in the Christian church, by the way. I have yet to see a woman who is, quote, a good woman till the very end, who never goes through a hoe phase, never goes and travels through Europe or goes on a cruise. You get what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sheep Get Sheared podcast. I'm your host, Austin Creed. My friends, I'm going to make an assertion today that Christian women are the problem. Now, you're most likely going to feel offended, or you're going to agree to some extent. You're going to immediately have a reaction to that, and that's normal. That's totally cool. The reason I say that is let's go all the way back. Let's have a little Bible lesson, shall we? Who was it that ate the fruit in the garden first? Who was it that was targeted by the serpent first? Now you might say, Austin, why the hell does this matter? I'm going to say, hold on a second, let me continue. Do you know why a lot of times women used to be growled, men were responsible for women, and whatnot? Do you know why that was? You know, in modern day, we consider that, ooh, they were being controlled. Ooh, they didn't have any agency. Not exactly. In fact, it largely came because women don't like accountability. I know that might be a shock to some of you. Others of you, you've known this for a long time. Women don't like accountability. They don't like to accept that they are wrong about something. They'll blame everybody, their grandma, the government, they'll blame the economy, they'll blame everybody except for themselves. And so when it comes down to why men used to be responsible for women, it was to protect them largely from themselves. When I look at the church today, and I see the women who are fronting like good women, there's no such thing as good women or bad women, in my opinion. There's a spectrum. Because there can be a good woman, a pastor's daughter, quote unquote a good woman, who can then go straight into being like the Prawn Stars, Lonely Fans, doing all these things that are debaucherous and despicable, right? And then you can have women who came from a not great background who have chosen that they don't want to do those things because they want to be prudent, they want to value their fertility and their youth, and they want to change. You can have people from all different stripes, colors, everything. So that's why, and they can very easily switch. They're not just one way forever. They switch. They can even switch from hour to hour, minute to minute, day to day, week to week. And that's largely normal. But the problem is a lot of men, we're not told this. We have to figure this out the hard way. When we live with a woman, or we're married to them, or we're in a relationship with them, and we see them go through this, and we're like, whoa, what's going on here? How is this possible? What's going on? We see this, we try to make logical sense of it when it's not a logical situation. It's all emotional. Women are emotional creatures. I don't care what psychologist, a revisionist, historian, womanist told you the opposite, but it's not true. This is a well-documented phenomenon. Now, that's not meant to tell you that they're any less. They are not. In fact, no, frickin', I'm not gonna pander to these people. I'm not gonna give a yeah, but. Hell no. We're gonna do this and we're gonna do it straight up. The reason I say Christian women are the problem is because they double dip. And I know a lot of them, both anecdotally and statistically, that double dip the system. All you gotta do is look at who joins the church. Now, there are some women who are raised in the church, who go through their hoe phase, and then they come back to the church. Even then, they're damaged. I have yet to meet a single woman, and I grew up in the Christian church, by the way. I have yet to see a woman who is, quote, a good woman till the very end, who never goes through a hoe phase, never goes and travels through Europe or goes on a cruise. You get what I'm saying? When women travel, they have no accountability. They have no reason to hold themselves back because they're never going to see these people ever again. They might not be here ever again. So they can do whatever they want with no checks, no balances, no accountability, no backlash, nothing. And all they got to do is gaslight you if you want to ask questions, or call you names if you want to call them out for it. You see, that's the game. And they can play whatever games they want. But I'm gonna let y'all gentlemen know what's going on out here. A lot of Christian women have a lot of skeletons and baggage in their closet. A lot of them have the snake's tongue, the double forked tongue. I say one thing, but I'm actually doing the opposite thing. And women talk in their own language. Anybody who's read Esther Vilar's book, The Manipulated Man, she has a whole spiel about how women have their own language and they'll say things in the presence of men that they know men will take one way, and the women in the other group, in the same group, will know what they're actually saying. Not what they said, but what they actually mean. And she goes through it and she translates like common sayings, and it's very eye-opening. And it was written by a woman, not by some hurt, toxic man, you know, like how you like to hear about all over the internet today. You know what? I think what's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's to say, what's good for the women is good for the men. Where is the equality when it comes to treatment? Where is the equality when it comes to accountability? Where is equality when things actually come due and the bill comes? Nowhere. That's where it is.
Oh, hell no!
It's nowhere to be found. But for some reason, we all want to pretend like we're living in a equal society. We are not, because the whole thing is based off of Aesopian communist language, and I've discussed this at length. Have you ever read the old Aesop fables? Like the Fox and the Crow, or the Lion and the Mouse, or Anansi the Spider type of a thing? Yeah. Those are all Aesopian type of fables, where the meaning is not directly shoved in your face like a lot of the wokeism is pushed in your TV, your movies, your social media today. No, they used Aesopian language, the communists did back in 1917 before the revolution in Russia. And I don't want to get too political, that's not the point. But I want to let you know that this whole womanism movement is based off of the roots of communism and subversion from within Herbert Marcuse, the Marxist school of the political theory. I've done multiple shows on Herbert Marcuse, Marx, Stalin, Leninists, all these things, because they tie into the conquest, the communist conquest of the modern Christian church, and why we see that more rainbow flags are flying and not the Christian flag or the American flag over the churches today, why so many pastors have gone limp-wristed when it comes to the fire and the brimstone in the church, and why they're not calling out people who are demonstrating debaucherous lifestyles and behaviors, and why they're not educating the men on how to avoid being exploited, how to avoid having their resources just extradited away from them and whatnot. We need to call a spade, even if it doesn't benefit us, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's uncouth. We gotta have the conversation. Otherwise, you are doing people a disservice. So when I say that Christian women are the problem, it's because there used to be a time when women kept other women in check. Men do a pretty decent job of keeping other men in check, except for the men at the very, very top of the pyramid who have to keep themselves accountable, if at all. But most women today, if not all, at least have the software downloaded from their peers, from their teachers, social media, education, all these things, to act like the womanist, act like the empowered Gloria Steinbeck types, the Gloria Alvarez, the what is her name? Why am I blanking on this woman's name? Bella Abzug, you know, all of these people who were debaucherous, who did not demonstrate characteristics that are good for cultivating a virtuous society. And everybody has to make sacrifices. And I see the men in the church willing to make this sacrifice. Marriage is a sacrifice for men. But women seem to think it's expected. But then when a man wants a woman to sacrifice being out on the Rooster roller coaster, being out here jumping on Johnson & Johnson, and I'm not talking about the company stock, and all they want to do is have fun instead of live a fulfilling life, that's too much to ask. But apparently a man to throw all his resources and invest in you, oh, that's expected. And I say no, because that is not that's not an equitable society. That is not, men are not supposed to just take the raw deal because we were born with a symmetric. between our legs. I don't think that that should be the case. Now, why in the world will I lead someone who doesn't want to listen to me? I'll lead myself. Why the hell am I going to waste my life trying to lead people who are like wild mares or wild stallions in a field? Why am I going to waste my time trying to break a horse that doesn't want to be broken? Why in the world am I going to waste my time on that? I don't see a point in doing it, and it doesn't make you a better man doing that. It doesn't make you a worse man for not doing that, in my opinion. But for some reason today, people want to act like women, bring out shaming language instead of confronting statistics. Instead of trying to actually fix the situation, they want you to just enable it by allowing them to act like this. And this is what we're seeing in the church today. And my friends, we need a wake-up call. We need to adapt. We need to understand the situations we're living in, and until the laws change, which I highly doubt they ever will, and if they do, it probably won't be in my generation. We shouldn't be participating in a system that actively tries to exploit us and put us down and persecute us. Why should we do that? Jesus only had to die on the cross once. Why should I have to do it every day? My friends, we need to have a real conversation about why in the world this is expected instead of something that is just discussed and debated. My friends, I encourage you to share your personal experiences about this topic, because I can guarantee you, a lot of people are going through relationships, they're having a hard time, they're not liking it, but they stay anyway because they want to be a good man. How about you be good for yourself? How about you do something good for yourself, and then once you're filled up, you can then be a well and give water to the village. Giving is fine. Giving is the only way to truly survive in this life. But give to people who are actually going to do something with it instead of just giving to a black hole. My friends, I encourage you to do your own research, think for yourself, share if you want to. If you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more, you want to share your opinions, go on over to my X page at Sheep Get Sheared. I'm over there multiple times a day. But my friends, you take care of yourselves. I'm out of here. Peace.